In this video, Kevin and I want to talk about what happens when we don't do the pre-construction meeting, or what is sometimes titled the pre-install, the preparatory meeting, or basically the pre-activity meeting before the trade partner actually hits their first zone in their first wagon with their work package. What happens when we don't do that? I mean, that's a big topic. A little bit of current events at LeanTakt. This is not bragging, this is dead serious. We've come farther than I think we ever thought we could. The people that work at LeanTakt are brilliant, and they're highly skilled at pull planning, highly skilled at procurement tracking, highly skilled at all of the steps of creating and taking a takt production plan all the way to the weekly work plan in the field. But one thing that hasn't quite stuck yet, and I think it's mainly because it's an industry like vacuum, it's a dead space, is the pre-construction meeting. It's huge, 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 huge. We've just got to do it. And when I talk, and here's my question in a minute, Kevin Money. What happens when we don't do that? And how does that affect your first wagon or your first zone? But let me tell everybody what a pre-install is. And Kevin really caught me up to speed and warned me about something the other day. Is that I keep saying pre-con, but there's the pre-con with the city inspector. There's the pre-con with the owner before the job starts, right? There, certain manufacturing walks, they call that a pre-con. What I'm talking about is the preparatory meeting 3 weeks before the first activity starts, where we take all of our planning, we align with the superintendent, the trade partner superintendent foreman, and we leave with expectations and a visual to install from. So what happens, Kevin, when that doesn't happen? Like, paint the grim picture, my brother.
Yeah, everybody trips out the gate.
Yeah.
That's generally what happens. You have, something isn't planned correctly, or that maybe it is planned correctly, but it hasn't been communicated correctly.
Ooh. And
the foremen are not enabled early enough to really hit the ground running. So that pre-con or pre-install or kickoff meeting prior to that activity really enables them to understand the plan, to demonstrate how they plan to go execute that work, to really align any last minute items for procurement, for labor, for logistics, for anything like that. So it really is the way to respect the trade partners. Maybe not the most, but it is a way to respect the trade partners, to make sure that plan has been reaches all the way down to that last level of planning right before the work begins.
When you were talking, I was thinking about a sports analogy. You coach lots of sports. This is your pre-game huddle.
Yes.
And one of the things that you said that, hey, the individual players might know their part, but does everybody know the play? Right? Does you like that?
100%. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Do we know what we're doing against this opponent in this game?
Yes.
And the other thing that you said is that everybody trips. What comes to my mind, like on the takt plan, that first zone every wagon will elongate, right? It'll get really wide and then narrow. When it doesn't have to be that way. You can start out right the first time if you watch some of the other videos that we're talking about. The other thing is they're on and see if I'm missing anything. Treasure hunts, which really annoying for the trade partner. They've got to orient themselves. Nothing's ready. Everything's in their way, right? They're not aligned on expectations, so they start down the road and then, can you fix that? Well, why didn't you tell me, right? So horrible environment, horrible situation when we get into that. Anything I was missing there? Like, how would you feel? Oh, let's make it personal. How would you feel? And I know you don't have feelings. I'm just kidding. How would you feel? Just kidding. How would you feel if you're a foreman, no prep, no pull plan, no look ahead, no weekly work plan, and you show up and it's not ready?
I'd feel like I would on every other site that I've probably ever been to.
Really?
Just
Okay.
Disrespected.
Yeah, just disrespected.
But that is the industry standard, and that is what the takt production system fixes, right? Like, it really helps us to know what we need to do early enough to really make flow happen in the field. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think foremen get that without this type of planning.
Yeah. There's two, did I cut you off?
Nope.
There's two concepts that come to my mind. I've seen decent supers run that 6-step process, the trade partner preparation process of buyout, pre-mob meeting, pre-construction meeting, first in place inspection, follow-up inspection, final inspection, and just be disciplined with that. The project was remarkable. Just doing that. And then for the trades, to your point, they're not used to doing this. They're not used to having that kind of prep. So it's what do we always get when we call trades? Why are you talking to me right now? Like,
I don't start for 3 weeks, right?
Exactly. I don't start for 3 weeks. Or the other thing we hear is, do you have a 100% set of plans? The time for us to be planning, to your point, is way before they start. And the time for us to start designing is way before 100% CDs, right? We've got to get trade partners more involved. And so they're going to look at us like we're crazy for a little bit, right? First, right out of the gate. So a pre-construction meeting, I'm going to talk about what I think is the most important, just briefly, not cover all of it. But I'd like to know in closing, what is the most important or impactful parts of this that you would like to see implemented everywhere, our team and clients and contractors everywhere? So for me, it would be that, and we're doing this at LeanBuilt, that any pertinent information throughout the entire process is making its way into the installation work package. So that the trades can have in hand, this is what I'm going to do, and it includes as the trade foreman, wisdom with the workers, boots on the ground. Oh my gosh, these videos are so great, but I keep forgetting little concepts here and there. You were talking the other day, or in another video rather, about the importance of zone control walks. There's this concept in lean thinking that it's like that's your and-on. Is being boots on the ground with the zone control walks and with the foreman and the crew to see if there's any quality problems. And if there are, pull the end on, push the button, whatever it is, stop the line, fix it right there when we go. Hal Makeover keeps challenging us to find better ways of doing the end on. He read the new book, Takt, Steering and Control, and he said, Jason, I think it needs to be a red light button on the crew board. And I was like, I kind of like that. But really, that end-on gets pulled in the pre-con, the expectations get set there. Then in the first in place, which is really your first wagon, your first zone walk, and in your handoffs, you can pull or push that end-on at any time. So I forgot to say that before, and I had to do it. But anyway, pre-con meaning that we're gathering that information, making sure that the super and the foreman are oriented, know the expectations, and the biggest thing for me is that installation work package, or at least a single visual feature of workboard, is ready for the crew to go do their work that we can inspect from. So those are the important points to me. If you're talking to the whole industry, our team, or anybody else, what are the key things for you?
What I was going to add is doing this pre-con meeting or pre-install meeting, you can do this once a week for all the activities that are 3 weeks out. You can have it be something like, depending on how much you need to cover, 30 minutes. It can be 30 minutes prior to your foreman meeting. And also, if anybody can't make it, you can do these over the phone, depending on the scope, right?
Yep.
But really, you're trying to facilitate as many of these meetings to happen as possible. So, like I said, once a week, 30 minutes prior to your foreman meeting, have a few of the foremen come in. They might already be on site. They might not be on site. Have the foremen come in who aren't on site, run through each of these activities and ask all of those questions that we have, all the 17 questions as well. I think we have a agenda for this that we've published. Maybe we don't. Yeah.
100%. And it's in the Takt. It's in the first planner system book.
Yeah. So, follow that agenda, make sure that the foremen are getting everything that they need early enough. And it's not that much. I think that's the difference that we've had is like, it's another meeting. And it's like, yeah, but no, it's not a whole huge set of meetings that you have to attend. It's just a little sliver prior to a meeting that really will engage the foreman in relevant ways early enough to really make their work flow.
I like that. Okay, I hope you all have enjoyed this video. On we go.